Joey, anything to add? Lawrence?
Sure. I have a lot of reasons, but one reason for me, being Japanese in Asia, I look at also some of the political issues. This is a slightly taboo territory, but I find that, for instance, I'm on the board of Global Voices, and you sit down and you watch the, we have a Taiwanese regional head, and you watch the PRC team and the Taiwanese team and the Hong Kong team, and they're all working together, and they don't really care about what country they're on. They're sharing an activity, and they're collaborating, and they're friends. And I think there are a lot of issues that will be solved if we care about each other as individuals, as a community. And it's not really necessarily about grassroots activism. It's actually deeper than that. When you actually build something together, there's a bond that gets created that's more important than a lot of other things. And I think that one of the things that Creative Commons allows us to do is allows us in Asia to work on things together, to collaborate and to share. And it's really much more about developing a level of caring. And so you can know a lot, but that's not the same as actually sort of creating a community. And I think that connecting the documents is one thing, but connecting the community is another. And I think that Creative Commons allows us to do that by providing a platform for sharing.
Let's take one more question from the floor. Any question? Yes, gentleman over here.
Thank you. My question is for Professor Lessig and Joel Ito. As founder and CEO, respectively, of Creative Commons, you thanked us today, Professor, for what we're going to be doing and what's been done over the last 6 years. But actually, I think really we should thank you for being the founder of this, because giving the world this opportunity. And certainly in terms of what you were saying yesterday, you highlighted the fact that when you talked about this, the war between prohibitionists and the fact that and the abolitionists, and the social issues involved in this whole issue, and that whereas in the time during prohibition in the US it turned honest men into criminals, you highlighted that now we've got a situation where innocent children are being turned into criminals. Well, my question is really more directed to where you see the whole project going in the next 6 years or in the future. Given us an insight into the past, where do you see it going in the future? And you highlighted today also about the registry. I'm interested in that because how do you see that fitting in with the right societies and the collection and the financial model in relation to the whole project? And then that brings me on really to talk to you, Joy, and your comment yesterday about being here in Hong Kong, and what you've heard is show me the money, basically, without using that expression. How do you intend to go about addressing that?
Well, first, thank you for your thank you to me in response to my thank you to you twice. Where I see going is exactly as Joey described it yesterday. I was extraordinarily happy when Joey, who was first the chairman of the board and then the CEO, joined Creative Commons, because it did signal the shift that I think we've got to make, which is to co-opt an enormous potential in the commercial sector to be supporting these transformations. So when business people begin to see why a flexible balance system makes more sense than you nicely reframed it, than the prohibitionists' conception, then that helps for political reasons and also for practical reasons. And we only prevail, I think, as Joey said, very convincingly. He said it to us many times. We only prevail when this becomes the natural, obvious thing that ordinary people want to do for lots of different reasons. Some of them are political reasons, some of them are just I want to make money. That's how we met. So that's where I see us going. Oh, the Red Society, yeah. So, well, we're building a registry that will be to other registries the way the internet is to other networks. Right? So right now there are lots of registries out there, and the common problem we think that they have is that they're all built with the assumption that the person, well, I shouldn't say all, there's some nice exceptions we're working with, but the dominant ones are built with the assumption that the person building the registry is going to control the registry and going to be a proprietary owner, and they're hoping that once the whole world uses their registry, then they can leverage value out of it and get money back to the people who set it up. Our view is that that model always loses when competing with an open free model. So we want to build a registry that has a number of possible layers on top. The very core basic layer provides relatively little certainty, and then we encourage people to add more confidence on top of that. But the product of it should be, if it's done well, eventually interoperable, open, shareable registry that facilitates easy identification of copyrighted works that are not CC licensed, as well as copyrighted works that are CC licensed. Just to make the system work better. So we want to add a new kind of registry to the mix and support the development of that particular registry. I think that would be an important part.
And about the second, you were asked about the revenue model stuff. So from the Creative Commons perspective, right now we survive off of donations. It's not a super sustainable model. We would love to have a revenue stream. I also used to be on the board of ICANN, which has a huge revenue stream for people like dotAsia. But it's, I don't want to, I think it's a valiant effort and it has an important function, but it's hugely complicated. It's a big, huge organization and it has a difficult time getting things done. And so I don't want to first turn into an ICANN. A lot of people are also afraid that we're build ourselves into some kind of like chokehold to make money and stuff like that. Luckily, most of my engineers, their whole motive is to try to figure out how to build a registry that has no function for Creative Commons. So there's kind of a tension, which is, I think, so many people in our, now that we're on this, another layer, we're used to sort of problems on the internet, which are the choke points usually are where the problems occur. So I think what we're trying to do is architect a system that requires us as little as possible, but to try to figure out the few points where maybe we can add value by being a neutral, sort of, what do you call it, a neutral party, coordinating body. But it's very difficult because I think, for instance, W3C has a very difficult time with funding, because they don't have a revenue model, and ICANN is bloated, right? So there's somewhere maybe in between there might be a sweet spot, but we're still very experimenting. We're always going to provide our licenses for free, and we're just trying to figure out what is the service. And this is why I've been brought Katarina Fake, one of the Flickr founders, on our board. We're trying to think about it more like a startup company that says, okay, what is it that the customer needs? What can we provide, and how much are they willing to pay for it? And how can we do this in kind of a non-exclusive, non-obtrusive way? And how, basically, I don't want to use Google's words, but we don't want to end up looking evil. We want to make it a win-win thing. But it's still pretty open. We're still at the very early stages of the architecture. We had the first meeting at Google where we had a lot of people come and talk about business models. And right now we're just trying to coordinate all the people in the space, what they're trying to do, and see if there's a role for us.
Let's have one thing to that. The recognition that dotAsia has had about the connection between Creative Commons and their mission really was the most exciting thing that has come to me in this whole trip. The idea that this is how dotAsia views itself is enormous potential for both of us, because I think you're absolutely right. And while, of course, as a board member of Creative Commons, the donation of $100,000 US is extremely important to me, and I thank you for that. More important to me is the signal that you give of why these two ecologies need to work together. So I want to thank you, again, thanking you, and thanking you for this.